Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you guys are doing well today. Um, I wanted to do this live to talk about the latest updates on the Maleah Davis case. And we've had quite a significant day, actually, today. Today, Maleah's cause of death was released to the world. And that's pretty significant. Also want to talk about her funeral this past weekend. There were some very interesting photos that were released from her funeral this past weekend, public photos that I don't mind sharing. And also want to just talk about like the latest updates on her case. So let me see who else in the chat. I was in the chat hanging out with you guys before. All right. Hey, you guys, Unite for Peace, 88. Barbara Brown, Sylvia's in the building. Amanda, Black Diamond. So many of you guys. Wow. Okay. Let's get started. So let's talk about the latest. Let's talk about the fact that Maleah's cause of death was released today. The Harris County Medical Examiner's Office has released the cause of death as being homicidal violence. I've seen this cause of death before. I know I had seen in the chat prior to this live starting that some of you had never heard of that cause of death before. I've seen homicidal violence. In other words, what it means is that there's no real firm understanding at this time of how she died. So kind of let's talk about this a little bit. And think this through, guys, everybody who's, been part of this story. When you have a cause of death that says homicidal violence, to me, that means that they may not know the exact cause of Maleah's death. But what they do know is that she didn't drive herself or drop her own body off in Arkansas 5.5, 6 hours away from her home. There's a lot of indications. The medical examiner looks at a lot of things when they're determining a cause of death, including facts around the case. They look at a variety of things, including police reports, et cetera, before they actually make an official cause of death. We know that a lawnmower ran over Maleah's body. There were some activities going on in that portion of Arkansas where they were cleaning up the side of the highway. And essentially a lawnmower ran over Maleah's body, the bag in which her body was in. And because of that, that may have damaged the evidence on certain things. Just imagine a month being in a bag on the side of the road in Texas during the summer months. I'm sure there was a lot of decomposing tissue there. And so with all that being said, when you think about some of the shows that you watch, et cetera, I think they'd be looking at bones at this point, right? So were there any breaks, fractures, cracks in her bones? You guys heard about, this confession, so to speak, by one of the inmates at the Harris County Jail who said that Darian Vence actually told him that Maleah was sitting on Darian's lap and he got annoyed. He shooed her away once. She came back, apparently was sitting on his lap. This is what he told this inmate, and he threw her. He threw her across the room. It's it's disgusting, honestly. It's very disgusting. And so what I want to do really quick is I want to play the quick, it's only a few minutes long, guys. There was a news conference that Chief Art Acevedo did today in discussing this newest information regarding Maleah Davis's cause of death. I want to play that really quick because I want to talk about that and how that relates to possible charges coming down for other people. So let me bring that up really quick. This was actually a news conference that he did maybe 2 hours ago, an hour ago or so. Let me bring it up. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. And y'all gotta forgive me on the lighting. I'm in an office right now. Okay. All right, shout out to KHOU who streamed this live. Like I said, it's only a few minutes long, so I'm going to go ahead and play this in its entirety.
Anybody streaming or anything? Okay, thanks for letting me know. Yeah, well, thanks for asking. Well, the ME has ruled that a homicidal violence, but the report's not done. In terms of the final ME's report, we're still waiting for that. And so in this case, what's going on is our detectives continue with the investigation. They're still interviewing doctors, other experts. They're interviewing witnesses. And I know that folks want this done yesterday. But what our pursuit here is the pursuit of the truth and our pursuit of exactly what happened to Maleah. What happened, who's responsible, how did it happen? And so do not confuse not having an update with the case not proceeding. We are proceeding we're proceeding this case to every path it needs to go. We're leaving no stone unturned. And at the end of the day, our hope and prayer is that we will charge the person or persons responsible for her death with the appropriate charges. I will say that in talking to our homicide detectives, we are working collaboratively with the Harris County District Attorney's Office. The DAs, Deputy DAs has been working with our team, have been phenomenal. They communicate on a daily basis, and we're hopeful that in the next few weeks we'll be able to get this further along and actually be able to give an update with our colleagues at the Harris County DA's office on the final charges and who the suspects will be and what the charges will be. But again, you look at social media, what people are out there, they want people arrested. They don't understand that that's not the way that investigations go. We don't look at which way the wind's blowing. We don't look at public sentiment. What we look at is what the evidence is, and we pursue the case to where the evidence takes us. Okay. What else?
When they say homicidal violence, what exactly that means from an investigator?
Well, that means that it wasn't an accident. And it means that there was some violence involved that resulted in a homicide. So it's pretty common sense, right? So I really love the work that we do with our criminal justice, and it is justice that we're seeking here, family, and that includes, the Harris County Forensic Science Center, obviously the Houston lab here that does great work, and our DA partners. In this case, everybody's working full speed ahead to leave no stone unturned to bring justice to Maleah Davis. And so with that, we'll see what happens. But we're not looking for expediency here. We're not looking for, this justice sometimes is a marathon. But we're well into this marathon, and we should have an update in the next few weeks to the community on where we're at. Okay? Anything else? Everybody happy? Okay.
All right, so I'm going to pause that there because he continues the news conference in Spanish. So, for those that, speak Spanish, he definitely continues the news conference and essentially repeats what he said in Spanish. So let's talk about that a little bit. First off, he essentially confirms homicidal violence, right? This is what the medical examiner says, but no one really, they're not saying exactly how Maleah died. And it may be possible that they may not be able to get that information. They may not have been able, when they did her autopsy, when they did the autopsy on Maleah, it may be that they couldn't really determine exactly, what may have caused her death. Although I have a sneaking suspicion that there was a skull, possibly some head trauma involved in Maleah's death. But needless to say, the interesting part that I found with this is he still said the person or persons. And he also talked about social media. Yes, bloggers have been talking about this case like crazy. I've seen it. I've noticed the influx in people covering this case on YouTube as well. And he's essentially saying, if you're on social media, you're blogging about it, I get it. They're not going to go where the wind blows. I understand that. And it's good that they don't. But does anyone else out there sort of feel like Brittany Bowens might walk from this? I kind of get that feeling a little bit, and it really bothers me a lot. Being the fact that Brittany was in Massachusetts when this all happened, that could very well be the thing that she walks away from this. But here's what I want to say to that. If she does walk away without charges in this case, although the chief is not saying that, I want to say, look at Casey Anthony right now. Casey Anthony can't even show her face in public due to all the scrutiny that she's gotten, right? I mean, are we looking at another possible Casey Anthony here? Is it possible that Brittany Bowens could walk away without any charges at all and be public enemy number one at the same time? It's very, very, very possible here. I'm really, really concerned about that. But again, we don't know all the evidence. We are simply blogging and reporting on the information that the police, released to the public. So we don't know all the evidence here. And there may be some evidence that we don't know about. So needless to say, that's my thoughts right now with Brittany Bowens. So in regards to social media, with the chief saying, social media wants people charged like yesterday. Yeah. We seen all these live streams that Brittany did and her friends, and looking at that footage of Maleah walking behind Darian Vence into that apartment, the fact that Brittany lied about, how long she was there that morning is so suspicious. And I don't necessarily think that the police have caught up with social media. And when I say that, I mean that things move so fast on the internet with technology. I don't necessarily think that the police have really caught up to that technology yet. And I don't know if they ever will. I think it would be a very, very smart thing for police, stations, police units, whatever you want to call it, around the world, start hiring social media investigators, people that are straight IT focused and can provide that knowledge and try to bridge that gap between social media and police investigations. So that's my thoughts on this. So hold on just a second, check my phone. Oh, hey Chris, I got your message. We'll do one next time. after this, unless you know how I can add you in. I'm speaking with Chris Thorns right now. He wants to join the panel, but matter of fact, send me your email address. Let me see if I can actually add you into this, and I'll join you in. So text that to me, Chris. So really quick, I want to show you some pictures of the funeral that happened. I'm not going to show you anything that's not public. I'm not going to show any photos from anyone taken inside the funeral. I will say, however, this. The funeral that happened this past weekend on the 22nd, Brittany was there. Her father, Craig, was there. Lots of family members and friends were there. And the photos that came from that were quite interesting. There was one journalist that was allowed to go to the funeral, Stephanie from ABC down in Houston. She was the only journalist, from my understanding, that attended this funeral. And when you see these photos, you'll see that phones were not taken when this funeral began. So people were literally holding up their phones, recording, taking photos. And my thing is, if the family really wanted it super, super private, they probably would have taken phones from people at the beginning. And they did not do that. So I do want to show you some of these photos, because there's one that really sticks out to me. I'll be honest with you. I seen Craig, Maleah Davis's biological father, his dress attire, jeans, shorts, and t-shirt, and everyone else was dressed in suits and dresses. I just thought it was a little weird. And another thing I'm gonna say too, the casket that Maleah was buried in was a beautiful custom-made My Little Pony casket, and she was literally, her face was put on the casket. Different My Little Pony artwork was placed on the casket. The company, I think they're called Soul Shine. I have to look at this again, but they actually donated this to the family. And, shout out to them for that. I know that a casket is absolutely not, cheap. But I do want to show you these photos because I thought they were really interesting, especially the one with her father. Thought it was just kind of different in the way that he was dressed. Don't kill me for saying this. I just really thought it was a little different. So let me share these photos out to you guys really quick. So the funeral, so this is a photo of some flowers that were, carried out after the funeral service. But I want to get to a photo here that's ahead of this. This here was a funeral program that for Maleah's funeral. Beautiful, beautiful program. My Little Pony theme throughout. And they even had a reading back that was done in like Maleah's type of voice, like in a child's voice speaking. And so the funeral happened at Crossing Community Church down in Houston. And like I said, Brittany, she definitely went. At the graveyard, she actually released one dove. She had on like some combat boots. I'm just saying. Even U.S. Representative Sheila Jackson, Democrat from Houston, she went. The mayor of Houston went. This is Sylvester Turner. He's the mayor of Houston. And he actually went to the funeral as well. One second. All right. This is them taking Maleah into the hearse to take her over to the graveyard. You can see her name was even written at the bottom of the casket here. I mean, there you can see the different the architecture that they did on this casket. I mean, they really did a wonderful job with that. So it's just such a horrible thing. Now, this photo. What do you guys think about this picture? Okay, this is her father leaving the funeral. Okay, This clearly, it's even captioned, Craig Davis leaves after the funeral service for his 4-year-old daughter, Maleah Davis, held at the Crossing Community Church at 3225 West Orem Drive on Saturday, June 22nd in Houston. Darian Vence, the former fiance of her mother, Brittany Bowens. What do you guys think about this? The jean shorts with the tears down at the bottom, the black shoes, black socks, black t-shirt with Maleah's picture at the front. I don't know. I kind of feel like, in a way, and let me put this in contrast here. Look how everyone else is dressed. And then look how he came to this funeral dressed. Does anyone else think that is just a little bit disrespectful? Just a little bit. I'm just saying. I hear you, Pretty. You say he ain't worried about no outfit. His baby's is passed away. Understood. Future guys, if something like this happens, don't go to a funeral dressed like that, okay? That doesn't mean he's guilty of a damn thing. I'm just saying the fashion did not necessarily fit the event, okay? That's all I'm saying. This is the mayor, leaving the funeral. This is, they captured pictures of a lot of people leaving this funeral. This was actually the inside of Maleah's program. And I don't know if you guys have ever did a funeral program before. I've done one for my father when he passed away, and it took me days to do this. So the work that went into this, I feel like was very well done. You notice that Brittany left a little comment here in the funeral program. Her picture's there, multiple pictures of her actually. And I don't have good words for Brittany. I'm not sorry about that either. I just don't have good words for her. If she was sitting in front of me right now, I would absolutely tell her how I feel, and it's just not good. So I'm just going to go to the next photo. This was a photo, of Maleah. I'm just going to kind of sit through these. And then, of course, this is her killer with his fake ass injuries. I wonder if he hit his head up against the wall or something with the little blood, and the scabs here. I hope he caused himself some brain damage when he did that, honestly, real talk. And of course, you guys remember this. This was the conference that they did when they were looking for the car. And that's still a question that I have, guys. Who drove Darian Vence to the hospital? Remember, the car was found in a parking lot in Missouri City, north of Houston. Who dropped this car off in this parking lot? Was Brittany driving the car? Was his brother, Joe, driving the car? This person dropped Darian Vence off at the hospital and drove that same car, okay? The same vehicle that dropped him off at that hospital was what was left in Missouri City. So who was driving the vehicle? We know that Brittany returned the day before this vehicle was found. And of course, as you all know, Darian Vence has been charged with tampering with the corpse. But not murder. He has not been charged with murder yet. But I have a feeling that's going to change. Now, keep in mind, guys, here's the other thing that's really important to know when they release a cause of death, homicidal violence. Although it does not specifically say head injury, poisoning, whatever mode the cause of death was, it's important to note that releasing a cause of death allows the police to take this case to a grand jury. So they're going to turn around, they're going to take this case to a grand jury. They're going to present all the evidence that they have. And a grand jury is going to determine what charges to lay down and who to lay those charges down on. Grand juries are secret, so we will not know the details of what is said to the grand jury. But hopefully after that grand jury has met, charges are determined. Of course, they'll release that to the public. I have a feeling that in the next few weeks, Darian Vence will be charged with capital murder. And I want to say that the Houston Police Department has been taking their time on this case. This, guys, has been by far the most, I would say, the most famous, infamous case I think Houston has dealt with in a really long time. Okay. So I think they wanted to do this right. They wanted to do this, get everything right, get everything correct. So I expect them to go to the grand jury, present their evidence, and I expect capital murder charges to come down on Darian Vence. There's absolutely no way that this little girl's murder can go undone. No way. Capital murder charges have to commence on someone. Social media or not, whether I'm just a blogger saying this, I'm saying from someone that feels very invested in this case, there has to be some murder charges laid down on somebody's ass, starting with Darian Vence. Being the fact that he's now talked to inmates in the county jail, he has said that Maleah, he threw her across the room. Being the fact they found her body with his confession, I fully expect capital murder charges to be laid on his ass. And let me tell you something, in Texas, capital murder charges are death. It's a death penalty, death or life in prison with no possibility of parole. But in this case, I would not be surprised to see them go for the death penalty for the death of Maleah Davis. So I just wanted to mention that to you guys. Now, really quick, I want to give you some more information here. Actually, I want to show you these photos. And there's a little Instagram video here too with Brittany Bowens at the funeral. A lot of people ask me, do you think she'll go to the funeral? If she wouldn't have went to that funeral, I think the outrage would have been insane, right? She had to go to that funeral. I couldn't imagine being Brittany Bowens and walking into a funeral with all of those people there who could judge me, et cetera, et cetera. So let me show you guys this, okay? This was at the gravesite. And, Tanika Nikki, this was actually posted on News One site. I believe Tanika is the one that did an interview with Brittany Bowens' sister, Natasha. And she commented that, I hear that her funeral was fitting of a little princess taken away too soon. And of course, the inside of Maleah's program. Okay. This here, now, important to note, Maleah's father, Craig, posted photos of Maleah's casket first to social media on Instagram. It's a post that went viral. I've seen it just an hour or two or so after he posted it. This is more, a more close look on the casket. You can see that they actually even did custom interior on this casket and painted Maleah's photo at the top. And, I look at this and it just crushes my heart. It absolutely crushes my heart to see this. But her father shared this on Instagram, and I'll actually show you that in a moment. And you can see her name was there at the bottom. This is just so sad, but what a great job. It was Soulshine Industries, guys, that actually built and donated this casket to the Davis family. Again, these, Instagram posts, tweets were embedded into newsone.com website. So I'm going to keep going down. This was actually a photo that was taken inside of the church during her funeral. You can see all the flowers there. A big photo of Maleah sat there for everyone to see. And of course, many people still asking, why is her mom not in jail yet? Why has Brittany Bowens not been arrested yet for this? And again, we have to leave it in the hands of authorities. Now, this is what I wanted to show you here. This is something that, as you guys know, this is Maleah's father. This is his Instagram profile. And he actually posted this video for all to see here in the public. It says, baby, forever your memory will live through me, Maleah. And really quick, I want to show you something as well. This is also another post that her dad did on Instagram. Like I said, it went absolutely viral. I was a little shocked to see it, but again, we cannot judge people that, in a lot of respects, we can't judge people. Everyone grieves differently, but in a way we do judge, don't we? We sort of do judge. This was the photo that her father posted on social media. He actually posted 2 photos. I just showed you that tweet, but this is actually from his page, okay? And if I go to his page, actually, let me see. It's like Belfort. Hold on. It's Davis, I believe. Craig, maybe. Hold on. One second. Let me get that tweet again. Okay, here we go. Guys, see, I've been researching this all day, literally. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me find it. Go back here to the page. Let's see, let me look up his profile really quick. Let's see, this is Belfort Scott Craig. Okay, let me copy this so we can go to his page just really quick. I just want to see if there's been anything changed or updated at all since this. Let's go take a look. Very interesting. Let's look at this really quick, guys. I think that we should take a look at this. Now, this was his original post, right? And he had like 13,000 people like that particular photo. This was the one that we seen just a minute ago. And I'm trying to figure out if that is a shirt or what that is. Like, man, I probably wouldn't even wear it. Scared I would mess it up. But I'm not sure. I can't really tell if this was a shirt or some sort of other material that was designed. But it says Daddy Loves You on it. Trying to figure out what this is. Maybe it is a shirt. And that's like the back of it. Okay, so let's just keep going up here. So I just want to take a look at some of these. This looks like a cake that he posted. It looks like they had like a little get together in her memory with My Little Pony themes everywhere. I'm not sure what to say about this. I mean, would you guys publicly share this information if this was you? So this was a shirt, guys. This was a shirt that he wore. I'm not sure what to say about that dress attire, honestly. I want to say, don't we have the right to judge it if he posts it publicly? Do I have the right to judge it? You guys tell me what you think. This looks like his son that was, dressed for the funeral. As you guys can see here, this is another photo. Even the baby has on, a shirt with Maleah's photo. This is so heartbreaking, you guys. So, so heartbreaking. I don't know what LLM stands for, honestly. If you guys know, let me know in the chat. I don't know what LLM stands for. But this is, Craig on the day of the funeral. This is at the gravesite. They had a lot of different flowers. He's so young. He is so young. I can't imagine, being in my 20s, going through something like this. Then he posted, this was 5 days ago. I just can't let go. I still don't want to believe it. Maleah looked just like her father. She really did. She looked just like her father. This, I believe, is a memorial that was put up for Maleah. This is so touching. So touching. This is the last one. He says, "I live for life." Now, if any of you guys know, the person that the music that you heard in the background, that is Zero from Houston. It's a song called "I Hate You." Obviously he's saying, "I hate you, B," which is how the song goes. If any of you guys ever heard that song by Zero, it makes me think he's talking to Brittany. When I see this, I think he's, it makes me feel like he's talking to her. "I hate you, B," essentially saying that to her. And then, of course, his last post, he says, "God is able." And he says, "I owe God everything." I'm gonna go ahead and hit like on that. Belfort_Scott_Craig, that is his social media. That is his Instagram. This here, I did see this in Arkansas. I believe this is actually the previous post as well, when he made a trip to Arkansas to see where his daughter's body was found. And the turnout.
This is for my niggas in the Cadillacs. Right behind 5. You know what I'm saying? Alright.
So we're going to take a look at this. Hold on, guys. I'm just seeing this for the first time, honestly. Wow. I just find those posts on social media a little interesting.
This is for my niggas in the Cadillacs.
This is interesting.
Right behind 5. You know what I'm saying? Alright.
Wow, okay. I'm just going to refrain my opinion on that, on these posts. Not this one, but the previous one. I'm going to refrain from speaking my opinion on that.
How you doing, Simon?
This is where Maleah was found. Wow.
Big diamond.
Okay. There was actually one more video that I wanted to show you guys. Give me a second. I wanted to show you the turnout in Arkansas when people turned out for, it was a walk to remember Maleah. And it happened right near where her body was found. My understanding is there were like 4,000 people that turned out for this event. And it happened the same weekend that the walk in Houston happened. Give me a second. I want to find this because I was looking at this earlier. And let's see here. Yes, okay. I'm going to reshare this out. I want you guys to take a look at this turnout. These are absolutely perfect strangers that didn't even know Maleah, but just feel so connected to this case. Look at this turnout. This is in Arkansas, guys. This is amazing. Absolutely amazing. The turnout is just, and if anybody knows where this location is, this is up near Texarkana. It's northeast Texas, near the Arklatex area. Can get real country down in there. And to see this turnout, it just tells you, like, Maleah earned that nickname Houston's daughter, right? She really, really did. And to see all these people that didn't even know her turn out because they cared, care so much about children. And this case is just so extremely sad.
I said, this a day that you have made for us.
Hold on, let's see if we can get a better video here.
Good morning. All I can say is hallelujah and amen to this gathering this morning. What a wonderful thing it is to come here today to honor the memory of little Maleah Davis. We do want to welcome each and every one of you here this morning. Before we get started this morning, I'm going to ask if Brother Jesse Henry will come up and lead us in the invocation this morning.
Shout out to KHOU for this raw video.
One to bow their heads, and the person standing next to you, we hold hands, please, showing we united in one call. Because God can take what we do here today, you all, and put it anywhere in the world that He wanted, showing us united. Let us bow our heads. God, we come realizing this a day that you have made for us.
Okay. So the thing, guys, is that particular area of Arkansas is very, very wooded. I actually I know that area very, very well. Very well, actually, out there, East Texas, going into Texarkana, into Arkansas and Louisiana. It's very, very a wooded type of area, just heading out that way. And again, she was found on the side of the road in Arkansas, right, literally off of the highway. So really, guys, the biggest news of today is Maleah's cause of death being released. And it really wasn't her exact cause of death, more so that is homicidal violence. In just my opinion, it's obvious that the medical examiner is looking at all of the information and details when determining, that this was homicidal violence. More specifically, guys, there's, no one kills themselves and drops their body off 5.5, 6 hours from home. That's a real critical piece to this. And the fact that Maleah had this head injury last year, and she's had multiple brain surgeries, right, in the last year as well. So many people have failed this little girl. Okay. CPS failed this little girl. I have not heard a single thing about the CPS worker who was in charge of Maleah Davis's case. Seriously, not a thing. I've not heard a single thing coming out from the CPS office down in Houston. Not a single thing. Really, no, I don't know of any investigation that's ongoing into the CPS worker who ran this case, who owned this case. Now, I know that a judge was ultimately responsible for releasing Maleah back home to this household. But still, I want to know more about what CPS is doing to make sure that this does not happen in the future to any other children that may be under CPS's care in the future. And I think that is a very important thing, that if any of you guys have contacts or connects to anyone down in CPS in Houston who may know about this case or have been involved in this case, you need to let them know that a lot of people out here feel CPS failed Maleah Davis. A lot of people feel that way, including myself. So many people failed this young girl, including her mother, Brittany Bowens. That is my opinion, and I don't feel bad about saying that. Still, as of right now, she does not have custody of her other children. She's currently being investigated by CPS. Even now, there's an active case against her. So it'll be real interesting to see how this case proceeds over the next few weeks, few months. So, let me get to your comments. I always like to look at these comments, read some of these comments. I'm trying to think if there's any other information as far as latest updates on the case. There's really not much more in regards to the latest updates on this case. Right now, my understanding is that now that there is a cause of death, evidence will be presented to a grand jury to determine what charges and what charges will be assigned to people, or if anyone will be charged with additional crimes in this case. Like I said earlier, I'm fully expecting a murder charge to be put down on Darian. But here's the other thing I did want to mention that really bothers me. Being the fact that Darian Vence is trying to concoct and lay out this accidental death story. And you've seen even the police chief mention that this was homicidal violence. This was not because of an accident. Being the fact that her body was transported, all the way to Arkansas, to a completely different state, that there's a lot of indicators here that this was not just an accident. Now, for those crimes and justice, junkies out there like myself, as well as I do, that when you have a case with no body, or a case with no real clear-cut cause of death, a person can lay out an accidental murder and get a lighter sentence from it. I don't want to see that happen in this case. Okay. I really don't want to see that happen. Remember, this man withheld vital information from authorities for a long, long time when this case began. Brittany Bowens withheld vital information from authorities for quite a long period of time. I'm of the opinion, okay, she wasn't in Texas when this happened. Maybe they can't lay the murder on her. But why did Brittany lie about how long she was there that morning with her daughter? Did something happen in the hour and a half before she went to the airport when she left to go to her father's burial in Massachusetts? Seriously, why did she lie, and why she proceeded to continue to lie about how long she was there that morning? That's, to me, I'm so suspect of that. And being the fact that Darian is trying to lay out this accidental cause of death, I fully believe he will be charged with capital murder. And again, capital murder in the state of Texas is a death penalty or life in prison without the possibility of parole. Now, I really hope that the medical examiner is able to find enough information when he did this autopsy to where he can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt this homicidal violence that he's classified her death with. Because what I don't want to see happen is Darian Vence to get like some second-degree manslaughter charge. So we will see as the weeks and the months progress how this case will be handled by the authorities down in Houston. And I will absolutely be staying tuned for that. Okay, guys, let's read some of your comments here. Let's see here. Colleen just said people lie to cover up stuff. Exactly. What is Brittany covering up? What is Brittany Bowens covering up? Why did she feel the need to lie about how long she was there that morning? Seriously. I'd love to know your response to that, Brittany. I really would. I'd love to know. And I think many other people, thousands of other people also want to know why it's such a big deal to modify the times. Remember, guys, this is the same woman, okay? The same chick that went and lifted up this man, Darian Vence, in the weeks after all of this happened. Remember her posts on social media? Do I really need to remind people of what she said on social media? The post that she put on Facebook, essentially coming after people that were looking at Darian Vence as a suspect? No. Something's not right there with that. Miss Utopia says, I understand what you're saying, but what more can the system do if the parent does everything the system asks them to do? And I think that's where CPS's responsibility falls in here, really. CPS was still involved in Brittany's life. They still were going to court and all that. So I think that CPS has a sense of responsibility here. And it really bothers me that I've not seen a single news article about CPS's handling of this case. I'm just saying. Mom of Titi Almeida says she still sports his ring to show solidarity to Darian Vence to keep him from talking. I have seen that. I have seen this ring that Brittany Bowens has been wearing. And I'm sorry, the gloves are off. If you hurt my child or you kill my child, you hurt my child in any way, there's absolutely no solidarity with you. I have none, zero. And the fact that this woman continues to support him, the fact that this woman has even talked about going to visit him in jail, for what? What are you going to get from him that has not already been gotten? You got your daughter's body back. Why would you even attempt to go visit this man in jail? And just know, the moment that you do go to visit him in jail, the whole world's going to know it. So good luck with that. Good luck with that. All right. LOM, long live Maleah. Got it. Looks like my battery's going dead. But what can he be charged with if he only cleaned up? Very good point. Very, very good point. A lot of people feel that he is the cleanup guy. and that Brittany may have did something to Maleah that morning. A lot of people feel that way. And there's a lot of theories out there that are very, very credible, especially when you have someone lying about how long they were there that morning with their daughter. There's no reason for you to lie about that. So good point. Very good point. Colleen Francois says, why did it take the police so long to act on a missing child? Naomi Holiday says, BB is a sociopath. BB lies like you or I breathe. Parnell says due diligence. And I want to say you're saying due diligence due to how this case is progressing. I agree with you. Why would he said he pushed her off of him? Right. Right. To me, that tells me that there was some sort of an injury that happened. We know there was blood found in the apartment. Some sort of injury happened. Now, was that injury to tissue that may not be there now due to decomposition? Or did it go so deep as to touch a bone, to break a bone, crack a bone? And would that be visible on the autopsy that the medical examiner done? It took them quite a while to release Maleah's body to the public, or to her family, I'm sorry. Amp Easy says that story from the inmate is nonsense. We'll see. Okay. Should join me right on back. let's see if this comes right back. I'm watching the chat. All right. Sorry, guys, about that. My battery died on my laptop. So, all right. So I'm just kind of reading through some of y'all's comments on this case. And thank you. That'll be a very interesting video, to say the least. A lot of you guys feel that Brittany is involved in this. Just kind of reading through a lot of your comments. And I'm just going to kind of like call this stuff out. Boo Brown said tissue in the drain. Yes, blood and tissue in the drain, blood found. Quano X spoke about this. I know Quano X has been under a lot of fire, but I just have to say about Quano X, he did bring that little girl home because of the confession to him. I know there's a lot of questions about, confession to the inmate 3 days prior, but he I don't necessarily want to feed into the whole dream that his daughter had a few days before that. But he did have a hand in Maleah coming back home. And I don't think it's okay to just dismiss that and to, not give him props on that. So, anyway, let's see here. I do have a second channel. Guys, thank you, Glazies, for putting the link to the second channel in the chat. I will be doing a lot of my future crimes and justice videos on that second channel. So just FYI, everyone. So you'll want to definitely subscribe to that. Hit the bell so you get a notification. I have been getting, hey, Brooke May, I have been getting a lot of requests to cover certain cases. If there is a certain case that you would like to be discussed, if it's a case that involves you, a cold case, unsolved homicide, etc., feel free to DM me at LeakYou on Instagram. And just know I'm a day or two behind on getting to them, but I do eventually get to them. And I'd be more than happy to look at that and see if that's something that I can, give commentary to on my channel. Let's see what other comments we have here. I really want to see how you guys feel about this. Black Diamond 2K7 has been in the chat since the beginning of the video. Says BB sent text message to Darian Vence that said, put the boudin in the freezer. Body, maybe. I don't think so. I think that she really is talking about boudin. I actually had seen another text or another post related to that. But you could have took a lot of what was said in those text messages like coded talk. There was a lot of things that a lot of people could have looked at and said, are they talking in code to one another? Like, what the hell is going on with these people? Let's see here. I think QX was paid by the Louisiana aunt and uncle to exonerate Brittany. I don't know, Amp, Easy. I don't know if I agree, and this is why. QX came out, and honestly, that's not a thing that you do. I mean, when you come out and you turn on the very person that you're trying to support / protect, trying to, who brought a lot of publicity to her case, to turn on her in the ugly feud that proceeded after that, I don't necessarily know if because to me, QX now comes across as he does not believe Brittany. He believes that she was more involved and that she should actually have charges laid upon her. And he's even said this in multiple interviews as well. Tammy says, I'm H-Town and it's boudin, whatever. I love boudin, especially on the grill. Miss Utopia says, listen, I'm sure they both beat her. Brittany is not saying too much because she doesn't want him to really start talking. I do not think that man loves Brittany that much to take a fall for her. Here's the other interesting part. The mistress, right? A lot of people were talking about this mistress, the information that she may have had about this case. I know some people wanted to interview her. I just would be very careful with mistresses and other people inserting themselves in this case. I'm just saying, be very wary of that and mindful of that. Frankly, I wouldn't even want to interview the mistress in this case, honestly. She provides, no additional value to me in an interview than she would with what she said to ABC News down in Houston. That's just my opinion, though. I know a lot of people would love to hear from this mistress to know if she had any information, but the reality is she really doesn't have any additional information than what she's already provided to authorities, unless she's writing Darian Vence while he's in jail, and she has a letter that she wants to share with the world that actually provides some sort of insight into what happened. I wouldn't give her the time of day, honestly. I wouldn't give her the time of day. Okay, so this is a really good comment, and I think this is important to speak on this. D347GL says, QX is the reason BB will not be charged with murder. I hope that's not the case. I really, really hope that does not come to fruition. But I have some issues there as well. I'm really glad that Quanell has stopped interviewing with people because I didn't want to see this case be damaged by his interviews with the information that he was providing to the media. But I will never forget the day that he walked out in front of her apartment complex. And I've been in that apartment complex. It's really not that big. When he walked out and he stood in that parking lot with Brittany, and he proceeded to tell us things that were not true. Things, I don't know, Brittany told him this. I really don't know. He's elaborated on this with Matt Hatter in an interview with 97.9. But my problem with that news conference is this. Why are you coming out telling the media all of these things, yet you have not went to the police yet? You have not given this evidence or this information to the police, to authorities, but yet you come out here and you stand in front of the world, in front of all these cameras, and went to elaborate on a 15, 20-minute meeting or conference or whatever you want to call it with the journalists, with many journalists down in Houston, to discuss things that had not even been given to authorities yet. I have a problem with that. He's no longer representing Brittany Bowens. Quanell QX is no longer representing Brittany Bowens. And honestly, I think that, just my opinion here, I think Quanell probably will look back on this case and, and probably think to himself, I hope I didn't tarnish my reputation with this, right? And I think he did the right thing. When he turned on her and he put everything out there, he did the absolute right thing to ensure that his reputation wasn't damaged moving forward. Because honestly, this is just my opinion. I may not have the same opinion as others do about Quanell X, but I feel like, he's responsible in a lot of ways for Maleah being able to be buried and coming home from Arkansas. And I wonder how much we would have known and how far authorities would have gotten without Quanell X's intervention there. I'm just saying. Darian Vence didn't share the location of her body with anyone else but the inmate, and the inmate told the Houston police, and yet they didn't find it until Quanell X said what he said in a public news conference. Just keep that stuff in mind, guys. Keep that in mind. Now, I'm very aware of Black Diamond about Quanell X's reputation down in Houston. There's a lot of there's a couple women that have came out with things they've said about Quanell X, and that he's gotten money, to work certain cases or did not deliver on these cases. This is something I think that was covered by Phil, I think it's the Advice Show on YouTube. He has a YouTube channel, and he's discussed this, and he's talked about this, and he has a video out there from last year regarding Mr. Quanell X. So I'll just leave it at that. A lot of people feel that he lies. A lot of people, don't have respect for him, Tammy Berger. And so, but in this case with Maleah, being the fact, with the fact that he actually was able to get the location of her body, we can't knock him for that, is all I'm saying. Now, can we knock him for other things that he's done? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we can. Let's see here. Aunt Beezy says, I don't think Darian told him anything. No logic in it at all. I don't know. I don't know, Aunt. Being the fact that Quanell X went down to the jail, somehow got into that jail for a visit after hours during non-visitation times. He said he sat down with them and talked with them man to man, right? And you can just imagine how that conversation went, especially right on the heels of him firing Brittany Bowens, right? I don't know. Quanell X says he records everything. He says, he records a lot of interactions. I'm pretty sure he's sitting on some recordings of Brittany Bowens right now as well. I wonder if he recorded that interaction with Darian Vence at the jail. It would be interesting if there was a recording of that and that recording got dropped to the public. But I would not encourage him to do that right now, because what I don't want to happen is for this case to be damaged any more than it already has been damaged, with all the other players in the case. Right. Parnell says it won't be admissible. Exactly. I just don't want any damage to come to this case with him dropping any secret recordings that he might have. And I don't think he should drop, release, if he does have one on Brittany Bowens. I wouldn't even release that right now. I would totally sit on that for right now. I wouldn't do shit until after the trial happens. Mrs. Meat 37 says, no matter how grimy he is, if he found my loved one, he's okay in my book. I feel you, Mrs. Meat. Let's see. I'm going to read a couple more comments, then we're going to go ahead and end this. Miss Utopia says QX should always secretly take people. I absolutely wouldn't go. I wouldn't have walked into this case, especially knowing what I know about Brittany, and not have recorded my conversations with her. I'm just saying. Let's see here. I'm going to read one more comment, Lana Boo, and we'll just leave it at that. She says he just needs to stop talking for now. Exactly. There's always going to be a time to talk. But the time is just not right now. This case is far too sensitive. It has way too much media attention attached to it. And so right now it's just not in anyone's best interest for any recordings to be dropped, private secret recordings. Let's let the grand jury determine what charges will be brought forward and against person or persons. I loved how the Chief Acevedo said person or persons, which does not rule out the fact that there may be charges against, people talk about Darian Vence's brother, Joe. People talk about Maleah's mother, Brittany Bowens. And there could be possible charges in regards to hiding Darian out, tampering with evidence. Remember, we're still trying to figure out who in the hell drove Darian Vence to the hospital in Brittany Bowens' car. And speaking of that, there's one more thing I want to show you guys, actually. Did any of you see Brittany Bowens going to get her nails done in Houston last week? In the car that her daughter's body went in the trunk? Literally, the same car that her daughter's body sat in the trunk and was transported. It appears that she actually went and got her nails done and was driving this car. Let me bring this photo up. I felt it was really disgusting too. I'm seeing your guys' comments. Believe me, I absolutely agree with you. I was so disgusted when I seen this photo. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, what is this car even doing? Seriously, what is this car doing in her hands? We know that it was an Altima. What is this car even doing not in an impound yard right now? So this person actually posted this and said, so I got a few pics of Brittany Bowens at the nail shop driving the same damn car Darian Vence had her child in. She got her license plates now, and we did block out the license plate number. No way in hell could I be driving a car that someone disposed of my child in. This B is not playing with a full deck. And I also got confirmation it will be a closed casket. Yes, we do know that. But yeah, she went and got her nails done, guys. That is absolutely Brittany Bowens. That is absolutely Brittany Bowens getting her damn nails done. And so my thing is, why isn't this car in an impound being held for any evidence? Or is it possible that she maybe got like a loaner car? Is this maybe just another Nissan Altima that she's driving? You know, it's hard for me to fathom that the Houston Police Department would have released this vehicle, but I will let you guys know. I actually emailed the Houston Police Department to ask them if this vehicle was released to Brittany Bowens, if they've actually released this out of evidence. I've not gotten a response back yet. And it may be because I don't know why I've not gotten a response back yet. It's been about 3 days since I emailed the Houston Police Department to ask them about this. So we will see what they say. If they confirm that this is the same vehicle, Brittany, you're disgusting. You're freaking disgusting. Like, if you guys see now, like, there's nowhere this woman's going to be able to go and not be public enemy number one and not be recognized. You know, the only way I think she would ever be able to kind of live her life in some sort of peace would be to move the hell out of Houston and to move to like a small hodunk town in America somewhere where nobody knows her ass. I'm just saying. Shamira, one of my mods, says they probably already processed it, Leak. I'm thinking that as well. I'm thinking they may have already processed this car for evidence as well. But man, then the thought comes to my head that this case is such a big media circus case. What if they forgot something or left something out? You know, it's kind of one of those cases I would just expect it, you know, that they would have maybe held this car a little longer, but maybe they did process everything from it, you know. Michael Booth says if they did give her that car, then it's really something fishy about this case. And at the point, this case will be bigger than us. I have to agree with you, Michael. Heather A says she had to look good for the cameras at the funeral. Yeah. This was right around that time. Matter of fact, I meant to show you guys this video of her releasing the dove at the funeral. Let me just show you guys this video real quick. And I didn't mean to even go this long on this live, but I just want to show this to you real quick. Like I said, the only journalist that was allowed to go was Stephanie from ABC 13 down in Houston. Let me just play this really quick. This was inside the funeral. This was actually released by ABC. There's people dancing around Maleah's casket. And there's Brittany. If you didn't see Brittany, hold on, let me go back. Did you guys see Brittany over here? She's right over here. Right there where my mouse is. Right there. Sitting front row and center. Now there's Brittany releasing the dove. One single dove. She's right here. This is like the saddest case I've covered in a long time, man. All right. So really quick, I want to see if I can find a picture of Brittany Bowens at the funeral. Man, she had on these combat boots, you guys. I was just like, what in the heck is going on here? But, you know, I noticed that she wears a lot of these combat boots, or she wears a pair of combat boots in a lot of photos. Let me see if I can actually find a photo of her at the funeral. Give me a second, guys. I'll see if I can actually find that photo of her at the funeral, and I'll probably talk about it during my next update on this case. But she had on a pair of combat boots with her dress. She was dressed in a black dress. She had her hair done. She had straightened her hair out and everything. And yes, we do look at stuff like this. If this is a high profile case with a lot of media and bloggers talking about it, we will look at things like how you're dressed for the funeral. And so, you know, I don't want to judge her father for what he had on at the funeral, so I'll refrain from speaking. I don't want to judge the stuff that he's put on his social media, so I'll just refrain from speaking on it. But just know that people do look at this sort of stuff. We do look at that sort of thing. Because at this point, I mean, people want to know any and every single little thing that happens in this case, right? So don't kill me for judging, okay? I'm just saying, don't kill me for judging people. I just can't help myself. So anyway, guys, that's really it for the update for today as far as from me. I will continue to follow this story. And we'll continue to do live streams to talk about it and discuss it. So many of you have been touched by this case. It's just amazing. The last live I did, I had people calling in at a text now number, and so many of you guys back to back were calling in talking about this case, and it's touched so many of you guys across the world. Literally across the world. So I think moving forward in the future, I'd like to do some more of those call-ins when I talk about certain cases. And again, if there is a case that you would like, you know, to be discussed on my platform, DM me, let me know. There is a couple that have DM'd me so far. I am looking at what you've sent me. So more coming soon. And again, I will be doing some live streams on my new channel that the mods, Glazies, thank you for dropping that link, have dropped a link in the chat. Feel free to subscribe to that. I'm going to start doing my crimes and justice videos on that particular channel. So anyway, guys, much love to you guys. Thank you for joining this live stream today. If you have, you know, any information, details, feel free to DM me at Instagram at LeakYou, LeakYou. And I want to thank each and every one of you for all of your comments and, you know, the concern and everything that you've shown for this case and other things that I've talked about on my channel as well. And much love to my moderators as well. Thank you very much for the work that you do in the chat. So anyway, guys, that's it for right now. More coming. Today's Friday. I hope you guys have a really good weekend. We'll see what happens. Over the weekend, I may go live again. You guys are quite welcome. Thank you so much. The rap video, Mrs. Meat, what rap video? And Unique Soul Goddess also brings up a really good point. She only abused her daughter, not her sons. That's something to think about. That is something that has been noticed. Hey, Brooksy Brooks, good to see you. Evangelist Tracy says, this baby was buried just 5 minutes from my home. Wow. Ugh, wow. Oh, it was a pleasure to have you guys. The one you sent me on Instagram, I'll check that, Mrs. Meat. Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you for joining the live stream today. You guys have a really great rest of your Friday. And until next time.